Hi, it's Kithran and we're back with Battletech Advanced 3062. Now, last time, well, we did good. We got ourselves a new mech, so I think it's time to build it really, isn't it? So, if we head down to the mech bay, look at storage, you'll see these are all the bits of mechs we've acquired, including the swordsman we started with but decided not to use. And you see this Stinger is in dark green, because we've got 4 of 4. It's actually the Stinger Lamb. We want to use that as a replacement for the Locust as a scout. So, first of all, we hit ready.
That mech is ready to fight.
It will take all 4 parts and turn it into a complete mech. If we were to combine parts of slightly different versions of the same chassis, we'd have to pay a bit of money, but because they were all 4 parts were from the same mech, it costs us nothing to get it out. When we hit refit, we can see what it's got and work out what we want to change. Now, straight away, there's one massive thing that wants to be changed. We want to hit this button up here to maximise the armour. Now, as you see, it's made it a bit overweight. So let's see what we can do with that. See what equipment we've got. And the answer is not much. So, how can we save some weight? Well, pull off the small pulse lasers. Pull off the medium pulse laser. Now, a mech has to have at least one ranged weapon. You can't have none, no matter how much you'd like to. So, while I'd love to stick this Guardian ECM on there, possibly just tweak ever so slightly down the armour, we can't actually do that, which is a real shame. Unless we've got anything we can do which can... No, we've got so little stuff, we don't have the option, any options of... well, you see, we've got virtually nothing in the way of equipment. Basically because we haven't done that many missions, we haven't picked up that much stuff. Strafing run, well that's too heavy, that's 2 tons. We've got less than 1.5. So, what this means is we are going to basically just have a single weapon on here. But one thing we can do, if you look at the moment, it's got upper arms, it's got shoulders, but it doesn't have lower arms. And adding a lower arm, as you see here, increases the accuracy. So we can put that on there. We can look at weapons. What laser weapons do we have? Well, we have what is probably the ideal weapon to put on here. We could put on an ordinary medium laser, but the extended range medium laser, well, it does more damage. It's got the same accuracy buff that a medium laser has. It's also got a greater chance of critting. And if you look, when we hover over it, we'll see its optimal range 240, maximum range 480. Compare that to the medium laser, optimal 180, max 360. So it can shoot further, which, given that this is a scout mech that's going to be running around all over the show, that is ideal. The other option we'd have would be small lasers, but they just don't have the range. That means you'd have to be right on top of the target, or alternatively putting one of these back on, but again they just don't have the range. Part of the defense of a Lamb or any other light mech is just staying out of range of the big things. You know, you don't want to be close enough so they can hit you physically, and if you're at longer range, their weapons have penalties to hit. They're already going to have penalties to hit generally if they're bigger mechs, because a light mech has a bonus to hit larger mechs, and likewise a medium mech has a penalty to hit light mechs, and so on. So if we take this ER medium laser, stick it on there, as you see we've got almost half a ton left, but I do not want to reduce the armour at all. Lambs are vulnerable, they're squishy. You really don't want to risk taking, sort of reducing that armour. So I'd far rather have that one medium laser, extended range so it can shoot further, If it does hit, it does more damage. If it doesn't hit, I'm okay with it. It's a scout. So, if we choose validate, it tells us all the various things we're doing. Most of it takes no time at all. It's just adding the lower arm, adding the laser, that's what takes the time. So if we confirm that, we've got plenty of money so we can afford that. Likewise, we don't want to use this anymore. If you look at what's on here, we see it basically had a very similar sort of fit. It had 2 weapons rather than 1, but it's only a medium laser, not the extended range. And it wasn't able to jump. So it was restricted to basically running around on the ground. But again, it had a little bit of armour remaining. But we can send this one off to the off to storage. And what that does is it takes all the equipment off it. So basically this is just the raw hull without any of the weapons. All the components have gone into here. So if we look at lasers, we've got 6 lasers in there now. Likewise, the stuff we took off, so the medium pulse we took off, the stinger is in there. We've now got 8 small lasers where we had 7 before when we were looking at putting one on the stinger. So that extra 8th one has come from the Locust. But anyway, because we put that Locust in storage and we're still working on the Lamb, we've got to advance the days by a couple.
I wrapped up that job you asked for, Commander.
Now, we're ready to give it a test, but first of all, let's just tidy things up so we've actually got our space at the end. It's just me being me. Okay, and we've got a choice of basically 2 missions to go for. Pay-wise, they're very similar. This one is against Marek, Battle in the Highlands. This one is against Word of Blake, Battle in a Town. We're going to be ultimately doing both of them, so let's get rid of the Battle in the Town first. Maximise my salvage, because it's in a town, we know we're going to not be destroying buildings, so we should get a decent payout from not damaging the buildings. So, we're all okay there. Lance B, we've got Blaze, but we haven't got the other one. Let's just move Blaze along, bring Tinker down, and put Tinker in the Lamb. And we're ready to go. Okay, if you're wondering, yep, I did pause all the way through the loading. And here we go, being dropped into town. One, two, three, four, five, six, we're all here. Okay, so we don't currently have any sort of initiative tracker. That's because we haven't spotted them yet. They're somewhere over there. Given they're over there, we are probably going to spot them as soon as we actually sort of move closer.
Orders?
So, with the land air mech and Lamb, you've got this avionics bit on your weapon selection that lets you choose your mode between air mech and battle mech. If we look now at how far we can sprint a long way. Like on top of this building over here. And that will give us a really good view.
Aye, aye.
If I hit space, that's going to speed up the travel. And yeah, as I expected, we've got a view of the enemy. So what do we have? We have a mongoose over here. It's got X-pulse lasers. Interesting. We've got a royal mongoose there. A stinger. A Hermes. And a firefly. Quite a few of these have got red weaponry. That's because they've all got a bit of damage to start with. Basically, it's a way for the lower skull missions to make them justifiably be considered lower skull. So you see all of these have got some damage to them. Even that, yeah, he's lost a machine gun yet. So anyway, we've moved Tinker up into this position. The reason why I've put her on top of this building, I'll probably move her onto that one next turn, but the reason why I've put her on top of here is because this height is going to give her even more defense, basically. And that's the big advantage of a lamb, is they've got that. They just basically ignore the terrain. So it's just pure, this is the distance, therefore move that distance. And if that distance happens to involve a whole bunch of up and down, well, that involves a whole bunch of up and down. We're not bothered.
Affirmative.
So everyone moved up. Yep, Tinker's a bit out ahead of everyone, but I'm not too worried, like I say, because, well, she's up the top there. Now, they've got a bunch of fast, nippy mechs, and they've got something with a Beagle active probe. That's to be expected, really.
Got it. Send me a real mech warrior.
Oh, and you see that's the consequence of the damage they've taken already. Normally, if you jump, if you've got an intact mech, it's not going to be a problem. But if you look here, it's got lower leg destroyed, piloting penalty. So it's because of that. So that's what caused him to fail the check for his landing, and as a result, he's gone and broken his arm. So he's also now less accurate for shooting. But anyway, got these two to move as well. Then it'll be our turn.
They've got a lock on me.
Now, normally, this could be quite concerning. I mean, for example, the Galleon with Blaze is down to only 2 pips of evasion, but that's the last of their mechs. And because we've been reserving, we're going to get to act before they do, so that's not actually an issue. Anyway, time to move. And as I said, I'm going to stick the Stinger, the Lamb, all the way up here.
On it.
Because this height is going to give me a very good chance of hitting, hopefully. Well, maybe not. Let's look at the percentages. Ah, yes. I'm at -4 because of the sensor locks as well. Each sensor lock adds 2 to your... Ooh. It adds 2 to your... as a penalty for your shooting. I think you can, in theory, basically sort of stack that as high as you like. There are other ways of getting sensor impairment, but just by sensor locking someone, you can pretty much make them impossible to hit. But I'm going to try this because, if you see, the back armour on this Hermes is really weak. Compare that to the Stinger. Yes, I can choose where to shoot, but pretty much anywhere. I'm just, unless I go for the arms, I'm not going to actually get through the armour. So even though he's laying prone and is an easier target, well, I'd like to go for the mongoose, but because it's run so far, it's a lot harder to hit. The Hermes, it's the easier target. He's in cover, which would normally affect, but because we're shooting from behind, it doesn't matter. So, let's see. 25. I suspect we hit it on the leg. We'll check now. Yeah. We've almost taken that leg out, but unfortunately we didn't quite get through. But can we? Yes, we can. So, yeah, as I noted, they managed to lock up Blaze a couple of times with sensor lock. She's going to have obviously the same sort of penalty to hit, but got 3 attempts, shooting from behind.
Targeted for an alpha strike.
We destroyed its Beagle probe,
That was a critical hit.
and we got through the armour. And he's unsettled, which is yep, he's got penalty to his shot, his attack, so that's a definite win. Right. Now I can't. His only option there is actually a charge, rather that he can't actually kick and charging. Well, put it this way, I consider it just really risky. Because for a start, it will damage you as well. We'll continue our attack. If we can hit this leg with this much damage, even though he's in cover, we should take that leg out. We didn't hit the leg, we hit somewhere else. Let's see where. Ah! We basically hit the other torso. So on this side, he's lost all the armor on the back. On this side, he's lost all the armor on the front.
Yes, Commander.
That's kind of balanced, but he's still up. So let's see, what can we do here?
All on air.
Let's see if we can finish one of them off. Technically, we're about equal here because there were 6 of them. Admittedly, they're all mechs, and 6 of us. One of us being in a vehicle, but damn, didn't hit at all. Typical. Okay, slapdash in the blackjack. Can they get a good angle? The answer is no. So, if we move to the here, you can at least get an angle on the Firefly. Reason why I went for that rather than trying to shoot the mongoose up here, it's only got 2 pips of evasion. It's going to be easier for me to hit.
Affirmative.
Oh well.
Right here.
And finally, nope, don't want to go that far. Alternatively, what about a jumping option? That can be 6 evasion. If I sprint to there, I'll get 7 and I'm in cover. So I think this is the better option. And again, we're going to try and finish off this Hermes.
Firing full complement on enemy.
Well, he's now stressed, but he's still there. Because we went last, they get to go first on this initiative. Okay, so giant in the commando, and we know this guy is on 9 as well, so he's going to be next. The Stinger would be on 9 as well, apart from the fact he'd fell over last time. So, giant. Can he? We can run round to there. Alternatively, he can go in and kick the Hermes. This will basically get us 2 attacks. One from the actual physical kick, and then one from the laser. Well, he's panicked now. He's almost lost a leg. And see, here's the other mongoose. He may get behind one of us. Oh no, he only got in the side. So a reasonable bit of damage, but I think he's going to discover the downside of doing that next turn. As well, I'm basically going to walk up and kick him.
Ready for order.
So let's move the lamb over. So what have we got? We could shoot the stinger. Same as before, we basically would just take the armour. Or I could try and finish this guy off. I know I've said that about 3 times already, but 'twas not to be.
Negative damage.
Okay, so the stinger's standing up. Let's see what he does. Oh, he's jumping somewhere. He didn't fall over this time, but... Okay, so that's it for him.
Waiting for orders.
Blaze. Or...
Yeah? What can I do you for?
once more, we'll try to finish off this Hermes. Well, he's lost its leg. Look, that's something. He's lost his leg. He's going to fall over.
Solid connection.
Because he's fallen over, his initiative will drop down to 7. It means the only one left to go on 8 is the Firefly. And he's managed to do the same thing that the Stinger did last time, which is knock himself over. Okay, so we've got one more to go on 8. It looks like we did finish that Hermes off because he's not got his ring around him. So we've got Blaze to go. Zip over here. And, well, shoot it in the back because it would be rude not to. So, couple of hits. I think we got through the armor, did a bit of damage.
Yes, Commander.
And finally, slapdash. And this is where this mongoose is going to learn that, well, he shouldn't have been so cocky.
Putting my weight into it.
He charged into a heavier mech.
Commander? Piece of cake.
You know, I think that mongoose was a bit annoyed that Blaze shot him in the back. Oh well, can't be helped. Okay, so the next one going on 9. Can do something against him. And I think I can kick him. Yep, I can kick him in the back. But before I do that, I can target paint him as well for good measure. Means anyone else attacking him is going to be getting a bonus to hit.
Putting my weight into it. Critical hit, Commander.
I think that counts as reasonably effective, doesn't it? So the mongoose.
I'm under heavy fire.
Okay, so he's put a bit of heat into the wolfhound, but I don't think I'm really too worried for Death Crusade there. So there's just Firefly left to go. So because of that, I'm going to go and kick him. See if I can take it out before it gets a chance to act.
You're gonna feel this. Hey, watch the heat. Watch my heat. I'm taking damage.
Yeah, I should have perhaps fired a little. It's just over the red line. That's not too bad. Okay, so Tinker.
Commander,
Move Tinker over there. I've only moved rather than sprinted, but because of the sheer speed of the lamb, she's still got 8 pips of evasion. And we will continue shooting at this guy, I think. Got a bit much armour. Can't actually destroy anything, but there's also Blaze to go as well, so we can give it a try.
everything I've got. Yes, Commander. Acknowledged.
So Blaze is zipped over there. Maximum evasion. We'll go for that same leg because now.
All right.
Yeah, well, it's still there. He's going to stand up now. But he's going to be a bit battered at least. He's jumped on top of the building.
Being flanked.
Commander.
And Slapdash is going to continue her duel with this mongoose. Well, one thing's for sure, he isn't going to be running around behind her this time. So, whiskey.
Coordinates. See.
Cool. And that's that taken care of. 3 salvageable parts, that's good. Okay, new round, and the Stinger is jumping again. Yeah, that's okay.
Minimal
I'll take that.
damage on that hit.
So we've got Giant.
Commander.
He could go and shoot that one before he acts, or he could go and kick that one. That's got a good chance to hit. So let's see if he can just get involved in this duel. At the end of the day, he could always get a lucky hit. So if I shoot for the leg and hit that, yeah, both legs destroyed. That's what I was after.
Hostile eliminated.
It means no matter what, he's not going to be able to do any damage. Oh! Okay, that qualifies as an easy kill. He was so stressed, he basically just punched out. So, right.
Hot damn. Let's do this.
Basically, it's just using the two small lasers, mainly because, well, the reason why the mech looks so red is because he was hot, because he was on fire last turn. I'd forgot about that. So that meant, although he wouldn't have overheated just from his weapons fire, because he was on fire, he got extra heat at the end of the round as well. Anyway.
Standing by.
Let's see if Tinker can kick him from behind. This is another thing that lambs are very good for.
Physical attack.
In this case, it's not a long distance, but running a long distance across the map, or just kicking an enemy mech, stripping it of its evasion. And because it's a lamb, you see it's not on the ground, it can't be kicked back. So unless it takes a lot of damage, it's not going to lose its evasion in return.
I'm receiving you. Location confirmed.
So, move up with Blaze. Because it's on the ground, we'll get to choose what location, and we shoot for the leg.
Fire an our weapon.
And bam!
Mech
Mission
destroyed.
complete. I think that's a
Successful.
that was an easier mission than some of the others we've had, mainly because there was just the one lance there, which made it nice and quick for us. But, well, I'm not going to complain. And as you see, we got a decent bonus from not blowing up any buildings. So, good payday, that one. Reasonable amount of experience. Whiskey got 1 kill. Giant got 1 kill. And Blaze got a kill. And the other, well, he just panicked and punched out. So, salvage-wise, well, there are 4 bits of a Firefly available, 3 bits of a Hermes, 2 bits of a Mongoose, 3 bits of another Mongoose, an ER large laser, Beagle probe, CQ, XL engine, ferrofibrous. Now this is the sort of thing that would be great on the Lamb because it would actually free up more weight, but I think I'm going for 2 parts of the Royal Mongoose because it gives us a reasonable chance. There. Well, it gave us a reasonable chance. Basically, there were 5 pieces of Mongooses technically, so it gave us a better chance of getting 4 pieces of a Mongoose, as opposed to if I'd gone for 2 pieces of a Hermes. Sorry, of the Firefly rather. But anyway, we've got 3 pieces of Mongooses, a Hermes, Stinger, Flamer, small laser, double heat sink, that's always useful, and mask. Don't think we're at the point we've got any complete mechs, but we can quickly check that when we get back. And we're back. So, first of all, let's have a look, as I said, see if we've got any complete mechs. Storage. We've got 3 parts of a Stinger A5 now. Yeah. We've got a total of 3 parts. Stinger Lamb. Yeah, we've got a total of 3 parts of 2 different Stingers. Not enough to make one, but there you go. And that single part of the Hermes we picked up. And that's going to be... This is going to be what's happening quite a bit early on. We're not going to have many complete mechs. I mean, we lucked out with the Stingers, primarily because there were 2 in the same mission. So we were able to get enough parts. I mean, the same could have happened with the Mongoose there, because there were 2 again. But we only ended up with 3 parts, so... 'Twas not to be. Anyway... We got some experience out of that, so let's see what we can do.
Yes, Commander.
Blaze. I mentioned before, really want to get sensor lock for Blaze. It's makes her just so much more useful. And also I'm just going to increase her guts a bit.
Training complete.
Death Crusade. He's got enough. Right. I think I'm going to go for piloting. I've got well, it shows 3 options, but side slip isn't really available because it's only relevant for tanks. So the choice between sure movement and phantom. Now the downside of phantom, it gives 2 evasive charges for 2 turns, but it costs resolve to use. It means you can't be using it straight away. Whereas this sure movement gives 1 evasion all the time, pretty much. It lets you exceed the maximum, and also it gives entrenched if you've not done a sprint, jump or charge to melee. So I think generally sure movement is by far the better option, and he doesn't have enough XP to do anything else, so confirm that.
Training confirmed, Commander.
Giant. What does Giant have to offer? Now here's another one of our scouts. The yellow bits here are the things that change when we take it. Now taking that level of piloting gives him, well, as you see, defense, which is always useful. Taking that just gives you a bonus for called shots. Taking that gives you heat efficiency, not useful for him because he's only got the single weapon. And taking that just gives you a slightly increased chance to hit and a -1 recoil penalty. He's using an energy weapon, there's no recoil, so that is irrelevant. I think by far the best. Get him a bit more piloting.
Ready for orders.
Slapdash is in the Black Hawk. Blackjack, rather. I don't know why I said Black Hawk, but there you go. The best thing here, she needs speed. So, get that. Gives her more defense because she doesn't move that fast. She never gets that much evasion, so that extra evasion is useful. She'll be wanting to take gunnery as well, but up here you get things that, you see, there you go, additional plus 0.2 to their sprint multiplier, so she'll be able to sprint that little bit further.
Receiving you.
And Tinker, well, Tinker's in the Lamb, and sure movement for her. She's already got the tactics, the sensor lock, but sure movement again.
Training confirmed.
Lambs can be squishy, so anything that can help deal with that is, in my view, good. Okay, Whiskey, he's in the Chameleon. I want to work towards here, because here you've got this thing called Energy Master, which I'm going to ultimately want quite a few of my guys having, because it gives 10% bonus damage and +1 accuracy to attacks with energy weapons, which is what most of my guys have. So, there we go. That's all the XP spent. We're ready for another one. But, given the time, it's been 40 minutes or so already. I'm going to give you guys an early night tonight. We're going to call it there, and next time we'll finish the final mission we're wanting to do here, because although there's 3, these 2, as I've said a number of times, we're not wanting to do because we don't want to get negative reputation with the Free Republic of Rashlaga. So we've just got this one against Marek, Battle in the Highlands, to do next time. And with that, I'll say catch you guys later.